Hey, everybody out there at the Voice of Geeks Network, VOG Network. I'm Rob Roberts, and joining me is...
Bobby Blackwolf.
Hello, hello. And we are talking about TwitchCon 2023. Bobby, I feel like I just saw you 2 days ago.
I feel like I just had said that joke with you on stream about an hour ago. Oh, wait, this is the first one.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh.
Anyway, so we are, we just saw each other in Vegas at TwitchCon. Yep. We're going to do another video about, our experiences and some of the things we experienced at TwitchCon and how we liked it and feedback and all that good stuff. But we wanted to talk about some of the big Twitch news. I know on Orange Lounge Radio, the show that I do, and Bobby, your show to an extent as well, we both not only talk about, video game news on the actual games, we talk about gaming culture. And live streaming is a huge part of gaming culture. And whether you're team, Twitch, or you're even YouTube, Kick, whatever it is you follow, these sorts of news and announcements impact you because, it's showing the needle on where this stuff is going. So there was a keynote that happened at TwitchCon, and they announced quite a few things. As we like to do here at the Voice of Geeks Network, we kind of like to not make you wait for the big... A lot of YouTubers are going to make you watch the whole thing till the very end for the big thing, but I actually want to start off with the big thing. So I want to talk about one of the biggest things that they announced at the TwitchCon keynote, and that is that simulcasting, the policy is changing. So you may be aware that if you are an affiliate or a partner on Twitch, you agree that your content is exclusive to Twitch for a 24-hour period. Even though people do it through things like Restream and so forth, you're not supposed to stream to anything but Twitch concurrently, and that's technically a violation of the agreement. But as we learned at TwitchCon 2023, the simulcasting policy was updated. It was updated back in August to allow platforms like TikTok and Instagram. As of, over the weekend on October 20th, you can now simulcast on any live streaming service. They don't name the ones, but you all know which ones come to mind. It's a lot of the, competitors in the space. So they do, they have a whole help article that goes with it. But obviously, a lot of people are calling this a game changer. Bobby, you've been in the live streaming space a long time. Both you and I have been involved in live streaming in some capacity, either directly or indirectly, since real audio was the thing that everybody used. Okay. So between us, we have something like 40 years experience.
Yeah.
Is this a game changer? What do you think about this announcement, Bobby?
It's going to be a game changer for some. And it's good, but it's going to be a game changer in a different way for different people, because one of the things that I don't like is splitting the community. And what this essentially does is split your community. If you're trying to build a community live, this is going to split them onto various different platforms. However, not every content creator cares if their community talks to each other. And that's something I have had to learn over the past couple months when I've had conversations with people that doing other things. They're like, I don't care if the chatters talk to each other. I care if they talk to me. And when I use Restream or StreamYard or whatever, it combines the chats and I can see everything. And that's what matters to me. So some people are going to think, okay, well, this is going to expand my audience. It's going to give you multiple audiences, and that may work for some people. But it's going to be really interesting to see how creators handle the multi-streams, because will they concentrate on one community over another? At some point, are they good? And what might happen is they'll just find where their people are and then stop restreaming, or they will just basically, oh, we're primarily a YouTube stream, but we're on Twitch too. But really, you want to be on YouTube.
So I want to bring this up a little bit here, because actually I think this is very interesting, and that is that Twitch actually put out some simulcasting guidelines with this. So I'm not sure everybody's going to follow this, but on their official help article, they say, you ensure that the quality of Twitch users' experience of your simulcast is, at a minimum, no less than the experience on other platforms or services, including by your engagement with the Twitch community, for example, via chat. You should not provide links or otherwise direct your community to leave Twitch for your simulcast on other services. You do not use third-party services that combine activity from other platforms or services on your Twitch stream during your simulcast, such as merging chat or other features, to ensure the Twitch community is included in the entirety of the experience of your live streams. It almost specifically calls out something like Streamlabs, which very easily combines your YouTube chat, your Twitch chat, and all that into one.
And alerts.
Yeah. So that's, and again, how many are really going to follow this? Who's going to get reported to the Twitch cops? But certainly your highest visibility folks, which in turn I think this might be addressing, which is some of those folks that have left for other platforms recently. They may be the ones that are being watched here, but I find this interesting.
Yeah, but I will also tell you that there are some things, and I'm going to use a group that I am closely affiliated with that was at TwitchCon, GDQ.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how much more money they could raise if they were also on YouTube at the same time as Twitch in for AGDQ and SGDQ.
100%. They have to be thinking about that right now. 100%.
Because the GDQ streams, they don't reference chat comments. I am for full disclosure, I have been fortunate enough to be one of the hosts, which is one of the donation readers for GDQ, and I am actually told we're in, there's a little bit of inside baseball. We're totally allowed to read Twitch chat while we're sitting there. We are directed not to call out any individual chat comment. We can basically say generally, oh, I see all the Bible thump emotes in chat. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You can say it generally, but we are not supposed to call out any individual chat comment. But so if they were restreaming, that's not a problem. Yeah. So like GDQ would actually very much benefit from being able to restream.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And of course, I think about some of the conventions that you and I have worked with and how much they will love to be able to, hey, see us on Twitch or YouTube, wherever your community is at.
Or Facebook Live or TikTok. We work with Dragon Con a lot.
People use Facebook Live.
You know what? Yes, that gets you more engagement. Like not people that watch us, but other people that are not in our community, that are not like, maybe they've been banned off Twitch too, or whatever. But if it's one more viewer, that's one more viewer than they would have had. And I know like Dragon Con specifically, like they actually were going to restream. They didn't realize that the terms of service got updated recently that didn't allow any restreaming. They thought it got walked back. That was not the part that got walked back. It was the ad rules that got walked back. But they would, benefit because Dragon Con doesn't care if people talk to each other. They want the questions to come to the moderator who can ask us on the panel. And a lot of conventions, a lot of events that maybe don't have chat interaction, your tournaments, your esports tournaments, or other things that maybe are not as interactive, they are going to benefit so much from this.
Yeah. It's interesting. Twitch is really kind of putting their faith in the power of the community of their platform in order to, still have people want to go to Twitch, which, I like to think I'm objective. I'm not a fanboy of one versus another, but like I do think Twitch has more powerful community features than a lot of their competition does, especially like YouTube, namely. Or Facebook, I think you're able to build a better community there. And I think they're really relying on that to really carry them, which is going to be very interesting to see how that turns out. I could be wrong, but I think this is going to be a very exciting thing for a lot of people, even for smaller folks, like, what we're doing here at the Voice of Geeks Network. We're not kidding ourselves about how big or small we are, as the case may be. But it's interesting to think that now we could do a podcast about gaming news, having it recorded. We've always put out the audio because technically it's the audio and video that was dicey. So we put the audio stuff out right away. But now if we want to, we can put the audio and video on YouTube right away if we want.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in our plan, but certainly if I was hypothetically thinking about doing a gaming news program that I did live on Twitch that I wanted to instantly put out on YouTube or other on-demand platforms, almost like what we're doing here right now.
Yeah.
Technically, it opens up to being able to, you're only held back by how fast YouTube can encode your video unless you stream to both at the same time, really.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how people kind of leverage this and if Twitch sticks with it, so to speak. But
yeah,
maybe they'll sign more people to keep them exclusive. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
and hey, Twitch, you know how to contact us.
That's right.
That's the plan.
That's right. Give us a call anytime. We are here. Let's talk about, there were some other things announced too. That's the one that everybody's talking about, but there have been other big announcements. And one of the big things, this actually rolled out before TwitchCon, which kind of surprised me because I was like, why wouldn't they want to announce this at TwitchCon? But then my thought was, because they want people to use it at TwitchCon. And that is stories. So yes,
Everything's getting stories.
app with stories. As if stories coming to like Telegram and Signal wasn't enough. Now you've got stories on Twitch as well. But I'm gonna say, Bobby, I like it on Twitch. I like stories being on Twitch. Because I think it's a great way to relay the message about like, oh, I'm going to be live tonight, or I'm not going to be live tonight, or I'm doing this other thing instead, you know, kind of letting your community know what's going on. The way it's delivered in the mobile app is great. They need to kind of figure out how to push it to desktop too.
Yes.
But in the mobile app right now, it's great. I really like it. What are your thoughts
I
on
even
stories?
added one. And I don't normally do story stuff, and I even added one over this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So I think stories are good. The thing stories needs, you can input existing video clips. You cannot do your own video right now, because I was going to record a video of me saying a joke or something and put it there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't like cross post something I put on TikTok or something to my Twitch story, because you can't import a video unless it is a Twitch clip. So that's a little bit, I'm like, oh, they ought to.
But they're working on that. That's what this link says.
Yes.
They're updating. The actual announcement is that they're going to update it with more functionality, including the ability to upload and film short videos.
Good.
Tag other streamers, links, GIFs, polls, anything like that.
That's good. I think that there's been a couple exciting things on the Twitch front lately, between that and basically what they inspired by TikTok with the clip discoverability, which I think is a great, a great feature. I wish they'd put in a long time ago. I think that's a great thing. Really elevates
all the featured the featured clips I've played with a little bit, because those get pushed on the home feed in mobile, and I think on desktop finally now too. And being able to like edit clips. That's a big thing that they're coming in with. And that's also in this. I don't know if we want to move on to it, but like having this discovery feed with live channels, and, you know, trying to figure, because Twitch has a discoverability problem. It's not as big of a problem as YouTube's. Like Twitch's discoverability is better than the others. But, you know, it's unless you already have a lot of numbers, it's hard to get discovered on Twitch. And so they are, and this is not an easy problem to solve. I'm not going to say, this is so easy, they should be able to. No, this is a difficult problem to solve, and they're trying some things. So like they're testing a version of the discovery feed with live channels to see if people can find a new live stream to watch.
Which is what TikTok does.
Yes.
Already. So, I mean, it makes sense.
And also, to be very fair, I actually think that TikTok's algorithm stuff and the way you can manipulate it is the most straightforward, and it works the best. Because I am like on TikTok, I do like the fact that like I'm scrolling through, and if I don't like something, if I say I'm not interested on that type of video like 2 or 3 times, I never see that type of video again. And, you know, and then it pushes more of what I like and what I watch and stuff like that. So, you know, it is TikTok, unlike other services, is very reactive and receptive to you telling it what you don't like. It doesn't try to guess what you like and not like. It guesses until you tell it it's wrong, and then it fixes its guesses. Where other platforms are like, I just won't show that to you for a couple weeks, but then I'll show it to you again a little bit later on.
Yeah. But TikTok's very kind of known for its discoverability right now. And like, you know, we can even speak firsthand as small content creators, essentially. The stuff we put up on TikTok gets a lot more views than anywhere else because of the way the algorithm works. It's very fascinating. So I'm sure Twitch wants a piece of that as well, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool. And then, you know, being able to have vertical clips, you know, because people shoot things with their phone, that's all going to be great as well.
I gotta have an old moment here, an old man moment.
Sure, of course.
I remember like 15 years ago, we made fun of all the kids who took vertical video, and we're like, it's not supposed to be vertical.
It wasn't
it's horizontal.
That long ago, Bobby. It was like try 4 years ago. We were still saying that.
No.
Again, I think TikTok and some of these, you know, to be fair, you know, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts have changed the game in that capacity, because now it's interesting. It's coming full circle. So for my day job, you know, I do a lot with, you know, adult learning and development in a corporate environment. And that used to be a big thing in our world too, is that you always want to make sure you're doing, if you do something on a phone, shoot it horizontally. Now the thinking is changing a little bit, because people are going, how much are people learning from short form learning from things like TikTok and stuff like that? Maybe vertical video is not as taboo as it used to be. So it's interesting how it's, you know,
Well, and it's because people are now consuming content on their phone instead of consuming it on a monitor or on a TV, which is where you'd want it to be horizontal.
Somewhere Quibi what was that site called? Somewhere that
Quibi,
site
yeah.
Quibi, somewhere Quibi is crying in a corner. We got to the vertical video game too soon.
Yep. Yep. Sega understands how that is. R.I.P. Dreamcast.
Well, let's talk about Stream Together, because I think this is very interesting. Again, another great thing for discoverability. So, over on Orange Lounge Radio, Dark Sakura, she does a lot of streaming of Dead by Daylight, which is a game I watch a lot on Twitch. I know you're not a big fan of the game, Bobby, but the community is
it's about the personalities that are playing.
Exactly, right? And so that's a big game. The reason why I cite that game specifically is because it's a big game for collaboration, right? Because if it's a 4v1 team, it's very often Dark Sakura will team up with her squad mates, Fixie and all the folks that they play with. And so now a functionality like Stream Together essentially allows them to combine. I mean, this already existed as guest star, but now they're trying to figure out, what if instead of this, and it goes back to what I'm going to say in another video, forecasting the future, about messaging and how sometimes changes at Twitch are about messaging. And I think this is in the same vein as that, about messaging. Is that now, with Stream Together, you can really, like, let's say Dark Sakura and their squad all come together and they can all say, we're all streaming together, literally, and they boost that to all of the audiences, and you can help discover other people through that. I think that's going to be huge for a lot of those communities and like friends of friends and growing things that way.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very neat.
Yeah, and and it's also going to change how things are recorded and things are done, because like we full disclosure, we were going to try this tonight.
Yeah.
But it turns out, because it is still guest star, they're just rebranding it and then trying to take it in a different direction, but the technology is the same as guest star. We are doing this. What we're doing literally right now is over a Discord video service. So we're in a Discord voice chat channel with our with our cameras on. I'm actually seeing the feed that Rob is showing. But what this is doing is this is eliminating Discord altogether. This takes Discord out of the picture. This takes Discord's bitrate limit, if you're not nitroed up on your server, out of the picture. You are streaming to your Twitch channel, and other people and other Twitch channels can pull in your video feed directly into their OBS and the audio, or just the audio only. And so you are all working together with that. We do not have, I don't think we have access to the actual Stream Together. We still have access to guest star, but not the full Stream Together. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work. And it sounds like they don't even know exactly how everything's going to work yet. I don't think it's done.
Yeah, because my hope was that I could just say, hey, we're here on the network and I want to say Rob Roberts and Bobby Blackwolf, because we have our own channels. We're streaming together. Yeah. Just we're over here. And like, if you accept the invite or whatever, then it would push to all of our communities. Like, this is where we're at right now. Check us out over here. For a network like us, just a simple feature like that could be hugely transformative.
Yes.
Hugely in building up, then truly being able to do network things, because we could do it with some of our affiliate shows, like Anime Jam Session, who's starting shortly and stuff. Could you can boost it. It's almost like hosting in a weird way, but like better.
Yeah.
So I do hope they allow a little more flexibility than just literal everybody's pushing their own stream to Twitch, and a type of like discoverability and community system. I'd love to see that, but I understand it's early. But I think the rebranding is probably the right thing to do, because in all honesty, very few people were using guest star. The only people I ever saw using guest star were people that were probably asked personally by Twitch to do it.
Yeah, I used it once, and it took a little bit to get it to work. I did get it to work, and I figured out how we could get it to work, but it was a little cumbersome at the time, and it was also like the week it had come out. So like, they've obviously made improvements since then, but we haven't tried it. Yet.
So, and they do talk about, we're going to give you the ability to use Stream Together in audio only mode. So I'm hoping that's a sign that maybe they don't need to actually be pushing their own stream. So, fingers and toes crossed.
Yeah. I really want to see how it works, and I haven't been able to do that yet. So I did, like, I'm sure they did a demo video or something, and I think it's out there, and it's just I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so in the keynote, they also talked about some ad-related things, some holiday promotions. I don't want to dwell on that too much. That's a little, specific to Twitch and just, I don't think really affects the common, viewer and so forth. But I do want to talk a little bit about a couple other, high-level things that they're going to be changing.
There are going to be discounts on bits in December.
So
that's one of the
be
holiday
the time
things.
to buy them.
Yes, that is the time to buy your bits. That's something that is for the viewer. That basically, and what they've done in the past is it takes out Twitch's cut.
Yeah.
So it is 1 bit for 1 cent, whereas that's how much we get. But it's like you have to pay $1.40 for 100 bits.
Right.
But and in the past they've said, oh nope, you pay $1 for 100 bits.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So that is something for the viewer. Let's
talk a little bit about the conduct policy, because this is something that get a lot of people going. They have updated the off-service conduct policy to include things like doxing and swatting, which I'm kind of like, that wasn't already there. At least the swatting part wasn't already there. But I'm going to assume at some point they were called out on that whole thing. And have made these additions here that, like, if you're somebody who participates actively in doxing other streamers, you probably should not be somebody who Twitch is giving money to and affiliated with. So I think that's great that they kind of patched that up and have that there.
Well, also I believe, and because I think it's a YouTuber and not a Twitch person, there was a YouTuber who doxed another YouTuber like 2 weeks ago. And so there have been the death threats. So like, it wasn't swatting, but the one YouTuber didn't like the other YouTuber's comment or something, and so just doxed him on YouTube, and all their followers started going after him and all that stuff. So
if y'all could just act right, the world would be a better place. Like,
I know. So I didn't get too far into it, but it was trending on one of those social media sites, and so I was like, okay, what's this? And that was 2 weeks ago. So that
I love your
part of
attitude.
this might be that.
What's this? Oh boy, what happened now?
Well, it's a weird name. It starts with 3 S's, and I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. But I think that's like the doxing and stuff, because that literally just happened, and it is
Makes
in
sense.
the pop culture news.
Sure.
That's why Twitch highlighted it in their keynote.
And something they've been, I guess, rumored, I don't think they've officially announced this yet, but something they're supposedly working on behind the scenes is that, I don't know if you know, but if you ban somebody from your channel, they can still watch your channel. They just can't participate in the chat at all. I think it's being tested. I don't know if it's rolled out. I'm sorry if I missed the memo. But apparently now when you ban somebody, they can't even see your channel. Obviously, yes, we all know there's ways around it. Just like if someone on Twitter blocks you, then you just log out of Twitter and you can still read, as long as they don't have a protected account or whatever. There's ways around it. We all know that, but it still kind of goes a step towards making it a little harder for somebody to hate watch you, which is what that is basically in any of those situations. You're hate watching. So,
yeah. And I like the some of the moderation stuff I like.
Yeah, me too.
Like
me too.
the sending anonymous warnings to chatters. That way you don't have to have a moderator send something. It can be anonymous. And so that way, you're protecting your moderators, because the moderators are I would say even more important than the entertainer that's on stream. Because they do a lot to keep the chat safe. And I got to meet several people that were at TwitchCon they had the community badges because they were the moderator for their affiliate friend or their partner friend. And they were there because they are being celebrated as well. I also like that they're going to have some smart detection with AutoMod, because it kind of learns. I mean, they're going to call it AI. It's not. It's just, better, algorithms. And stuff, but like, we generally allow every comment that AutoMod blocks here on VOG, because it's germane to the discussion, or somebody gets a little bit too enthusiastic with their language.
Well, yeah,
you can
drop an F-bomb if it's appropriate, as long as you're not saying, F you, Rob Roberts, I can't stand you. That's maybe not a nice comment. But if you're saying, I can't effing believe what a scumbag Bobby Kotick is, I would say that is an appropriate comment.
Yeah. And they, sometimes people just make jokes that are a little more graphic and stuff, and it's fine, because we don't show our chat on screen. It doesn't really, it doesn't affect us.
We also understand hyperbole. Yeah.
Yes. It's very metaphor heavy and stuff. So they actually already have this feature live on all English language channels, where it's basically going to kind of learn from your moderator actions
Yeah.
that you and your mods take. And essentially the only actions, thankfully, because y'all are awesome, the only actions we have to take on VOG Network is usually approving hyperbolic comments that may have harsh language in it. That's literally the only auto mod we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the occasional spammer, which this will catch and get rid of, and all that stuff.
But
we don't.
Oh, sorry. But I was just saying, going back to the private message pop up, because I just want to say I think that is a great feature, because now it's because how many like awkward moments have you seen on stream where somebody's like, I wish you wouldn't talk about that, or I wish you wouldn't bring that up, or something like, and it feels like it really just sucks the air out of the room, so to speak, because a moment had to be dealt with. Like, wouldn't it be much better if I could just, type a thing and I could just put like a little pop up to Bobby Blackwolf saying, hey, could you stop making the Super Metroid versus Chrono Trigger joke because it hurts my feelings? And he could see that. I'm just kidding. I had to think of something. So, but but let's say for some reason I was in a really salty mood about it one day, and I could just say like, could you just effing drop it and send it in a private message? It's much easier than sucking the air out of the room by saying, Bobby Blackwolf in chat, stop saying that comment or I'm going to ban you. You say that again, Bobby Blackwolf, and I'm going to ban you.
Yeah. So, A, Super Metroid is not better than Chrono Trigger. B, because you didn't say it, I couldn't say it that way. But also what I like is that the user will need to acknowledge the warning.
Yeah.
So, like, you're going to type it, they have to acknowledge it before they can chat again.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that they saw it and they read it. Even if they're like, oh, no, I didn't read it, I just clicked the button. Well, too bad. That's not a me problem, that's a you problem.
Maybe you should learn to read things before you click through them.
Yes. So I like that. I like that they're trying to do things like that. There's always going to be problems. They're never going to solve 100% of the issues that come through chats and stuff. But people are going to have to
choose to implement it that way too. Because I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of streamers that don't stop the behavior of, and don't say it again. There's going to be people that don't stop that behavior, but this does allow another more discreet way.
Yeah.
So I think with that, we hit on most of the big stuff. I don't know if there's anything else you want to bring up from the keynote, Bobby, but.
Well, one of the things that, because this was kind of interesting, I know this is probably one you weren't going to talk about, but I do like that they're updating the Twitch embeds.
Sure.
And what they're doing with that is basically they're not going to allow autoplay on certain sites. And the reason this is a good thing is because what some sites, unscrupulous sites, would do is that they would have a Twitch embed the size of 1 pixel on their site. And it would be muted, but it would be playing their stream, and that counts as a view. And that is how some channels get a whole lot of view bots.
Yep.
So they're going to prohibit autoplay, which will not count as a view on sites that do that.
Good.
And that's so you're going to find some sites that have like some channels right now, or because I don't think this is in effect now. I think it's November 15th is when it goes in effect. But you will see like channels that have like thousands of views with no engagement, nobody chatting. And it's because most of those views are because somebody's on like a different web page. Maybe it's a Web3 page or something. And it's playing in like 1 pixel.
I've even seen it where it's not 1 pixel, but maybe just like a 200 by 100, but it auto plays because I went to look up a strategy guide for some game. Now I have to look at the person's Twitch channel, and I kind of find that sort of behavior annoying. I'm glad they're turning that off too. That's great.
Yeah. So, and they're only turning it off for sites that actually do this a lot. So like autoplay, like if we embedded it on our website normally, and it's like the main part of the page, they're not going to touch us. We could have it autoplay if we wanted. It's really only for the sites that are gaming the system. They're like, we see you're gaming the Sierra system. We know how you're gaming the system. We're going to stop you.
That they're doing this.
Yeah, because like
you do that again, I'm going to ban you.
I'll go back to GDQ, GamesDoneQuick.com. If you go there when they're live, their Twitch stream autoplays the minute you go to the homepage.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine because it's the focal point.
And
they're only doing this to pages where it's not
by
the focal
going to that site.
Yeah, and it is the focal point of the site. They're doing this to where some sites are not making it the focal point just to get the views up.
Yeah. Interesting. So that'll be very interesting to see what that does to some of the numbers out there. But folks will just find a different way to game the system. That's how it always goes, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, with that, I think we covered most of the big announcements from TwitchCons, but stay tuned. We will talk about TwitchCon and lots of other gaming and gaming culture news throughout the week on our Sunday night shows over at the Voice of Geeks Network. Myself, I'm with my friends on a show called Orange Lounge Radio, which is Sunday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. But before us, there's another guy who says, deal with it. I said what I said.
That's right.
About Chrono Trigger. Bobby, you want to plug your show?
True. Yeah, so I host the Bobby Blackwolf Show. It is Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific over at the Voice Geeks Network Twitch channel that we're here at right now. And I talk about the gaming industry and stuff like that, and we just have a good little time. It's a formatted kind of like an AM radio talk show because I started in 2005, and people still listen to AM radio talk shows more than just one particular segment of the country. So I kind of formatted it like that, and I like talking about the industry and sharing. I will be sharing this weekend some videos that I took of TwitchCon and of Games Done Quick Express.
Right. Well, we hope you'll stay tuned to the Voice Geeks Network for plenty more in gaming and gaming culture. Thank you so much for watching our video. We appreciate all the likes, comments, subscribes, follows, and all that good stuff. VOG Network pretty much on any social media, as well as VOGnetwork.com. Have a great week, everybody. Happy gaming, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.